Welcome to Qt Widgets and more. Wouldn't it be awesome if you had the source code of Qt available, so if you had any questions, you could just have a look in the source code. Well, we actually do have the source code available for Qt. And if you're using the SDK, by all means, always do download the source code together with your Qt version so you can go over there and browse around it. There are a few glitches to this. And first of all, let me just give you a reference to an old episode that I had. Come on, Robert, will you put in the link here? Thank you. In this episode, I'm talking about how you compile Qt yourself. And that is the best thing to do, because then you can debug your way into Qt. But sometimes, for me, for example, I have a large application that takes 10 minutes to compile with all the dependencies, and therefore it's super annoying whenever I just have one little thing that I need to compile and wait for 10 minutes. And why don't I use it all the time? Because that version obviously is compiled with Qt in debug mode, which means that everything is extra slow, and I use my daily build for my actual work too. So I have my regular with a Qt that is compiled in release mode and everything that comes from the SDK, the latest version, and then I have the Qt source code, and there I can debug my way into Qt. But sometimes I just want to see what is the implementation of this or that, and I'll show you how to do that. The example is actually from the previous episode of Qt Widgets and more, where I was talking about qsave file and I was talking about commit. So let's just have a look at what exactly does commit do. It is here on my screen now, and I can simply press F2 to go and look at what commit does. You're not happy? All right, I'm in the header file, of course. I should go to the source file so we can see what the commit does. And we know that we can jump between header files and source files by pressing F4. So there we are, qglobal.h. Yes, Qt got really confused about that because it didn't find the source file there. And I can tell you that commit is not in qglobal.h. It's actually in qsavefile.h. So, okay, let me open qsavefile.h. Let me open yes, see, that's a problem because this is the include directory. And even if this is just the include directory. There's no sources around here. So that is somewhat troublesome. But there is a tiny little thing that I can do. And I know that it must be in qsavefile.cpp. There's a tiny little trick in Qt Creator that I can use. Namely, I can add a new action to my locator so that I can get to those files. So in my Qt Creator, simply go to Edit, Preferences, and find Environment here, Locator. You can see I was already there. And choose Add Files in Directories. And it could be my Qt 6.8.1.67. We're not that far yet, are we? Sources. And it needs a directory. And I'll just type in this direction here. That was really fast type, wasn't it? So this is home blanket Qt 681.681 sources. So that's just the directory Qt 681. That's just because I have a lot of different Qt versions and I have a directory for each of them so I can delete old directories when they are really, really old. And inside there, this is the files that the SDK gave me. It should look in these files, and it should ignore these files. That's all the same. And it should have a prefix. Let's just call it Qt Widgets and more, because I already have one that's called Q for Qt sources. So Qt Widgets and more, that's a good one. Include by default. If I choose that, then it will actually, whenever I just type Control K and start typing file name, it will suggest that too, which might be annoying. We can see each of those. So include by default off with that, and OK here, and OK there. And now my computer is likely thinking very hard. I'm just stalling time here so they get a chance to look at all the files. I hope that it's done that now. Now I can press Ctrl-K, Qt Widgets and more, space. And now you can see over here, this is all the files that is in the file system of my Qt 681/source. And I could look for, what was it? It was a save file.cpp. And here is my save file. Let's also try, again, Ctrl-Q, choose save file. It already suggested that. Ctrl-Q, Q file. Oh, it's looking in some other directory here. Q file. Yeah, it has a lot of stuff here. It's confusing with my existing system setup. So let's not worry about that. But the key thing is that had I chosen the do include, then it would show up here in this list automatically, which you might or might not want. And especially this one down here, we'll see that in just a minute. Oh, come on, sit down. Don't run around with your arms over your head in enjoyment, because trees do not grow into the skies, as we say in Danish at least. There are a problem with that. Namely that given that the project is not part of your project, you can still not navigate around. So if you in Q save file see that it's doing something with another class and you can't press F2 and get to that other class, you might be able to get to the header file, but definitely not navigate around as you would like to. But there is actually a solution to that problem. The problem is online. It is called it's called codebrowser.dev. It is something that a now non-existing Qt consultant company called Wobug did in the days. And when they decided that they wanted to do something completely different, KDAB bought it off their hands so that we could maintain it still. So let's see what CodeBrowser looks like. As you can see, there's lots of different things on CodeBrowser that you can browse the source code of. But let's just browse the source code of Qt 6, or even better, rather than browsing the source code, let's just go and look for Q save file, and it offers me all the constructors and so on in Qt 5 and Qt 6. So Qt save file Qt 6. I'm sure that will get me someplace good. The qsave file.cpp, here it is. And let me just check up here in the URL, Qt 6. Awesome. And we were looking for commit. Well, I could have just done it up here the right way. If I can spell commit. qsave save file : commit. And now we are at the commit function right here. qsave file commit. I'm still in Qt 6. And I can start looking around here. Is open, what does that do? Okay, cool enough. Let's go back again. Who is calling commit? That means who were over it, and I can see the definition, the declaration, and there are 12 places in Qt, it seems, that is already using qsave file. Let me just see if I can very fast see. Q settings. I promised you that Q settings was actually one of those that were using qsave file. And here you can see with your own eyes that I was not lying to you. But Jesper, the internet is so far away when I'm sitting with my code. Yes, I know. You need to find your browser. You need to go to codebrowser.dev and type in and whatnot, and you want it much faster. But don't worry, Jesper is here to help you. Go into your Qt Creator again. Edit Preferences. And now you will again environment locator, add, but not files in this time, but URL templates. And open codebrowser. Open view. I cannot type that. And you will say add. And this time, see, I type fast. You will type in a URL. So google.com. So I'm just Googling. I search for something on the site codebrowser.dev. And I am searching for the string Qt 6. And in the title, it must have whatever. Okay. Give it a prefix. So let's call it Qt Widgets and more code browser. There we are. and include by default this time. Okay. And now when I say OK, and I go Control K, and I can write Qt Widgets and more code browser, Q save file, and voila, Q save file is available in the code browser here. And notice that when I type, I can also just Control K and Q save file. And now you'll see there's 2 suggestions down here for the same thing. That's because I already had set it up myself. So one is from CB, the shortcut CB for code browser in my setup. And the other one is for Qt Widgets and more CB for the one that I just showed you. What? I can see from your sad face that you are not happy still. Oh, you already have Q save files just in front of your eyes on the screen, and you don't want to be bothered typing Control K and CB and then Q save file. You just want a magic key that'll get you right from Q save file on your screen to that search. Well, I can help you with that too. Let me show you. So again, into Qt Creator, into Preferences. This time, again, Environment, and now go to External Tools. And you can have some categories. I have some already here, and I'm not going to type it in. I'll just show you mine here. Launch Code Browser, give it a description, whatever. Here is my Firefox. That's the application that I'll actually launch. And I'll give Firefox this URL as a parameter. https://www, who writes that anymore anyway, google.com, and search with this stuff that we see here, and then in title colon, and then we want whatever is right underneath our cursor. For that, I went out here. And pressed this button here, and you can see there's lots of different tokens that I can insert, and one of those will get me %open brace current document : word under cursor. And with that in place, I now am able to almost, one more thing, edit, preference, keyboard shortcut, and I have a code browser. That's an external tool, launch in Control F1. And now I present to you me pressing Control F1 on my keyboard. Ta-da! Okay, now's the time to run around your living room with your arms in the air, because this is pretty awesome. And I added this 2 or 3 days ago for this particular video here on Qt Widgets and more. And since then, I have been looking at Qt source code in the code browser quite a bit, because they are so easy to get over there. And just stay tuned for the next episode, which I haven't entirely prepared yet, but it will show you the code browser looking at QAbstract's item delegate. It was a problem that I was sitting until 2 o'clock last night trying to solve, and finally solved it by looking at the source code of Qt. I would likely not have been able to solve this without looking into the source code. So do not miss out the next one. And how do you avoid that? Well, you subscribe to the channel. And do give me a thumbs up. I love thumbs up. And even better, write in the comment how good I look and how smart you think I am, or just that you like the content. If the other is not true, don't lie to me. In any case, I'm Jesper Pedersen from KDAB. I hope you enjoyed this episode here. These are 2 tools that the Q1, where Control KQ, I've used that forever. But now the code browser extension is pretty good. And now you'll be asking yourself on the way out here, Jesper, why do you have the Control KCB in there? Well, sometimes I don't have something to press Control F1 on to go right there. And then I can just Control KCB QString if I want to look in the QString source code. And that's it. I'm done now. Goodbye. See you next time.